Hello, everyone. My guest today is James Kappen. If you haven't heard of him before, he is a designer and entrepreneur who loves solving problems using technology. His current company is Proposable. James, are you ready to take us to the top?
Sure.
All right. Tell us about the company. What's it do and how do you make money?
So Proposable helps solve the pain in the sales proposal process. So trying to help with moving things from Microsoft Word and legacy platforms onto the web, creating a web-based document that could be tracked and updated in real time. So kind of taking the sales document and moving it online, basically. Trying to create some automation for companies that need some more processes and for their sales proposals.
So how are you winning customers over from other folks in the space like DocSend?
So we're kind of focused. Our platform looks like a document. It looks like a Google Doc. A lot of these kind of newer platforms, it's kind of they're using it for marketing. They're using it for sales. It's kind of an all-in-one kind of thing. We're focused on the proposal process itself. So, creating the proposal, drafting the proposal, getting a manager approval, sending it out, and getting an e-signature to close the deal. So really focused on that specific process. Whereas some of these other platforms are focused on everything from marketing to sales to document management, that sort of thing.
So you mentioned signing, but I mean, how do you beat point solutions there like Right Signature, DocuSign, and many of the others in the space?
Yeah. So they're completely focused on the signature itself, the document, the signature. E-signatures are becoming a commodity. Everyone does e-signatures now. They're all legal. Most of them are legal. It's kind of the general consensus that e-signing is a legitimate way to sign documents and close deals. So, instead of kind of using a service like Proposable and then exporting to PDF, uploading to another service, getting it signed, we just sort of include the e-sign all within this one smooth workflow of sending a proposal out, communicating around it.
Sorry, didn't you just argue that one of the ways you're different than DocSend is that you just do the one thing versus doing marketing and sales and everything else? But now you're arguing that you do more than the point solution. So which one is it?
So like I said before, the proposal process is a specific process. It's a sales document specifically for proposing a deal, a quote or a bid. So I think, you see, the DocuSigns and these, it's really about the signature. So you can upload any kind of document you want and get a signature. Whereas we're saying, consolidate it into kind of a single workflow and not kind of bouncing the document out to a signing product and then moving it out to a redlining product, moving into Dropbox to store it, kind of bringing all that into one kind of smooth workflow for, people who do lots of proposals.
And what's the revenue model? Is it a pure play SaaS?
Yes.
Okay, got it. And give me a general sense of size of customers. What do they pay per month on average, would you say?
Well, our smallest plan now is $39 per month per user. So we kind of go from there up to, some bulk discounts for larger customers.
Okay. Just to avoid going down every different customer cohort, what would you say the average, pays per seat? Like the 39, you think?
It's higher than that. It's more like 50.
50. Okay, good. Mm-hmm. And give me more of the backstory. When did you launch this thing?
So it was way back in 2009.
Okay. And what were you doing back then? What did you quit to do this?
Yeah. So right out of college, I started an ill-timed advertising company, paper advertising company here in Santa Barbara, a magazine, in fact. So kind of the worst time to do that. All the print advertising space was really going downhill quick. So kind of worked my way out of that, lost some money and decided, hey, if I'm going to spend any entrepreneurial time, I need to focus on the internet because that's where I saw people excelling even in the downturn. So I thought, hey, some of the things I learned during that process of doing the advertising piece, I saw some holes in the sales process and thought, hey, this web-based sales tracking solution might be helpful to me and to others.
And what have you scaled to now today in terms of team size? How many folks are with you?
We're still a small team. It's 5 of us.
Okay. Everyone in Santa Barbara?
No, we're all spread out.
Oh, great.
Hawaii, Indiana, the Bay.
That's great.
Yeah.
And what have you scaled to in terms of customers using the platform?
So we're right around 300
Okay.
customers.
And is this just you kind of nose to the grindstone, hustling, cold email? And how are you getting these guys?
We have kind of an interesting lead magnet source. We have a lot of proposal templates on the web that rank really high. So we get kind of a lot of folks coming through that, and we rank well organically for proposal software, the term proposal software, and a few other terms where folks are coming to purchase software like ours.
You're talking about like your agency proposal template, social media proposal, web design proposal, etc.
Right.
Yeah, interesting. It's a beautiful layout, by the way. I'm looking at it right now. It looks great. Now, in terms of, well, you mentioned the 300. But I want to make sure too. Are those companies using you, or those are the total seats using you?
So I haven't looked within the last week. So I'm not totally up on what's happened in the last couple of weeks, but we have active. I just looked at the active user count. We're over 500 active users.
What does that mean though? Is that like, are those paying seats?
Those are paid seats.
Paid seats. Okay. So 500 paid seats, 300 businesses. So on average, 1.7 seats per business, something like that.
Sounds right.
Interesting. Okay. Now, can I take that 500 number times the 50 number you gave me earlier and assume you're doing about 25 grand a month in revenue?
Mm-hmm.
That's about right.
Mm-hmm.
And you've bootstrapped this thing, or you've raised capital?
Yeah, there was a little seed round. It actually launched through a company called Sproutbox back in Indiana, out of Indiana University. They had kind of a Shark Tank-esque kind of thing happening in 2009, and I ended up winning that competition with this idea. So I got a seed round of funding to kind of produce the MVP. Basically.
How much was that?
That's what we've done. That was $250K.
Okay, that was a convertible note though, right? Not equity.
That was equity.
Oh, that was. Oh, wow. There was 250 grand. How did you value the company back then?
Great question.
It was like, yeah, it was like a little baby.
Yeah, it was.
So, I mean, what did they take 10, 20% for that amount of money?
I won't say at this point, but
well, how many years? I mean, this was years ago, right?
Yeah, this was years ago.
They probably have this on their website somewhere. I mean, this was like 7 years ago.
Yes,
so save me the searching. What did they take for that amount of money?
You mean how much equity? How many shares did they take?
Yeah, I mean, most of these accelerators, they say we're going to give you 100 grand for 10% of that company. I mean, this is usually public, so I can either go do the work and research it, or you can just tell me.
Yeah. So they took 30%.
Okay, and is that they do that every year with a new company, whoever wins?
They did for a period of time, and I think they've adjusted their model accordingly.
It's really aggressive.
It is. It was very aggressive.
Do you regret that?
No, I'm thankful for it. It gave me an opportunity that I wouldn't have had, being a designer and not having the team in place. So that's kind of what they were able to do, is kind of take folks like me with hustle and an idea, and kind of provide the team to build the MVP, give the kickstart, get it off the ground.
What are you growing at right now, year over year, would you say?
I think, let's see.
Doubling, tripling, flat?
No, not, I think we were flat, I think, last year to this year.
So 12 months ago, you were doing about 25 grand, same as today?
Right.
Okay. Uh-huh. And so is this your main gig?
It has been, yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What you look like you were deep in thought when you were answering that. Yeah. What's going through your head?
I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm actually, I have lots of other projects kind of in the mix, like I'm sure you do too. So this has been my main focus since the beginning. But
is there another project you're more excited about, and you're like, wait, should I mention it on the show? If my investors hear it, they won't be happy.
Exactly.
Okay, so why not just sell this company for $250,000, give them their money back, and go do your other thing?
Because then I wouldn't get a payout.
Well, what payout do you? Change the number to get whatever payout you want. Why not sell the company and then go do your own thing?
Yeah, I would be interested.
Interesting. What would you sell? I mean, what kind of payout would you look for in terms of coming up with a deal?
I'd have to think about that. Yeah, I'd have to do some soul searching.
Yeah, I mean, if you take
9 years kind of working on, then
Yeah, sunk costs are tough, right? But I mean, if you take 25 grand and multiply it times 12, so it sounds like you're doing about, call it 300 grand a year right now on revenue. I mean, it's not crazy to say, I mean, you're flat, that's the problem. But I mean, it's not crazy to say you get 1 or 2x at least ARR. I mean, that could be an interesting 6-figure payout for you after you pay folks back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely.
What would you invest the money in?
Great question. I don't have a good answer for you right now.
I thought you just said you know what your number one other idea is.
Yeah, I would invest some in other projects for sure.
But you don't know which one yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. Makes good sense. What is churn at right now?
That's a great question. It's too high. Let's just say that.
What's too high? Like if you're flat year over year, you can just look at how many people you added over the past 12 months. That means you lost the same amount since you're flat. I mean, generally, how many customers are you losing per year?
I don't have a number for you right now.
Okay. Well, how do you know it's too high if you don't know what the number is?
Any is too high, right?
Not necessarily. If you have zero churn, it might mean your price point's too low. Nobody's churning.
Mm-hmm.
Churn can be a good thing.
Sure. Yeah, no, we've been between 5 and 10%
monthly.
Yeah,
and that's logo churn or revenue churn.
Pardon me?
That's logo churn or revenue churn.
When you say logo churn, what do you mean?
Like that's just raw number of logos that have left you versus the revenue they make up. So companies where ARPU is very different across customers, they'll tend to look at revenue churn as a more reflective example of company health.
Yeah, customer count.
Customer count. Churn. Okay. And why are they leaving? When you ask them, why are they leaving?
No, it's interesting. The space is getting more and more competitive. So I think there's other, there's sometimes, our product, when people don't get fully engaged in it, it's easy to jump to a competitor. It's like once they've kind of learned the system and, I feel like education has been a part of it in a lot of cases. It's hard to, one of the main friction points actually is moving their content from wherever they have it, Microsoft Word, Excel, Dropbox, getting it into our platform. And so when people don't quite get their content in, it's not as sticky. The folks who have kind of embraced it and said, hey, we're moving on to Proposable. We're using this as our kind of proposal tool.
Works for them.
Yeah. Right.
All right, James, let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's the last business book you read? Don't make one up. If you don't have one, just say none.
No, I can't think of one.
Okay, good. Number 2, who's the last CEO in Santa Barbara you had dinner with?
Bill Evick.
Bill Evick?
Built a company called Aptex.
Aptex, interesting. Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building the business besides your own?
Intercom.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
9.
Okay, and what's your situation? Married, single, you have kids?
Married, no kids.
No kids, okay, that's good. And how old are you?
34.
Last question, what do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Focus on finding something that you're good at and you enjoy as quick as possible.
As fast as possible. There, guys, have it from James. Launched Proposable back many years ago. Won a business competition with it. That was in 2009. Got $250,000 of seed funding for 30%. His company is now 5 people, totally remote, which is great. Again, helping you manage proposals. They do customer acquisition really effectively via templates that rank very high on Google. 500 seats, paying about $50 a month, so $25,000 a month in revenue, flat year over year, mostly due to high churn, 5 to 10% per month in terms of logo churn. But he's an entrepreneur. He's talented. He's got ideas. We're going to watch him. James, thanks so much for taking us to the top.
Awesome. Thanks, Nathan.